All right. I have with me today Regina Adkins, who is the Associate Director of Admissions at Rose Hulman. Regina, first of all, thank you so much for joining me.
Happy to be here.
All right. So, Rose Hulman, lots of people know about it, very prestigious university. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it, where it is, and why, more about the school and why someone should choose to attend Rose Hulman?
Absolutely. So we're located in Terre Haute, Indiana. And so that is a little city on the west side of the state, right on the Indiana-Illinois border. Like I mentioned, it was a small city, so about 60,000 residents. And Rose Hulman itself is a small private institution. And so we have a total enrollment of about 2,100 students. And of that 2,100, about 2,000 of them are undergraduate students. And so we are primarily students. And so for us, that is our focus. And we offer 18 different majors across a variety of disciplines, including science, mathematics, and several engineering programs. Now, I mentioned we have 18 majors. We do have 10 master's degree programs. So if a student is interested in continuing their education, we do have options for them. We even have a program called Rose Squared, which allows students to earn a bachelor's degree and a master's in engineering management at the same time. So within 4 years, you can earn both your bachelor's of engineering and your master's of engineering management. And a lot of information about that program can be found on our website. Additional kind of fun facts to share. In addition to being a smaller institution, we do have a very nice average class size of about 20. And then we have a 13-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. In my opinion, some wonderful perks of attending a smaller institution is that one-on-one attention that you can get from our faculty. And speaking of our faculty, you will be very excited to know that for us, your courses will be taught by a full faculty. About 99% of our folks have their full PhD, or think of it like the highest level of education they need in their discipline. And so you will have a faculty member in front of you in your classes and in your lecture. So we don't have any teaching assistants or graduate assistants there to support. For us, we take that work on, and we are super excited to do that. Our faculty really enjoy teaching, and they are proud to do that. Other little fun facts to share. We have a very thriving social life as well for our students. We have about 90 different student organizations. If a student has an interest in, let's say, music or the arts, we have programs and organizations for that. If you're interested in community service, if you're interested in professional organizations, Greek life, we have a little bit of that as well. And then we also have intramurals and NCAA sports. So we are Division III for our athletics, and we have 20 teams for students. So 10 male, 10 female students. In addition to that, we also have our competition teams. Every year we have roughly around 10 of them available for students to join. And they range, again, a little bit of everything. But what our probably most popular ones include our racing teams. We have 3 of them, including a Formula One racing team. And then we have 3 robotics teams, including FIRST Robotics, as well as BattleBots. And then one I really enjoy talking about is our concrete canoe team, where they are tasked with building a canoe out of concrete. So pretty self-explanatory, but a challenge all the same.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really think of concrete as being an ideal shell for a canoe.
Correct. I agree. So I'm always so, interested to see all of our teams are housed, and we have 2 innovation centers. The students call them the Big and the Kick. And I'm always intrigued to walk past and see kind of what they're doing. So pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. So lots going on there, lots to do. What is Rose Hulman looking for in a potential student, both just personally and personality-wise, and also what are some of the requirements for admission?
Absolutely. So I always think of a Rose student as someone who has a passion for STEM, of course, since we are a STEM-focused institution. But even more than that, they have a desire to impact their community, to really use their education to do some good things in this world. And so we have students in terms like personality-wise, we kind of, have a little bit of everything. So students who may be more reserved to students who are out there, leading on our student section, any of our athletic events. We have a little bit of everything here, which I think really adds to the campus environment. But then also students who, I mentioned have a desire for STEM, but who also enjoy or at least can tolerate, math, some of our sciences, as those will be a very strong piece of the puzzle when you come here. And so in terms of the academic requirements, we do require our students to have, 4 years of an English, which is pretty typical of, a core 40 degree here, but we also love to see 4 years of math, and if at all possible, for one of those math to be calculus BC. If it can be BC, we still think calculus as a foundation is great to have in your high school years. And then also 2 years of a social science, so think of history, psychology, things like that. Again, fairly typical. But then also 1 year each of biology, chemistry, and physics. And so as long as you have kind of those components, if not completed, but at least, projected to be completed, during your senior year, then you are going to have a solid academic foundation for admission.
Okay. All right. Now, obviously, Rose-Hulman, very well known for engineering, and it's got several other schools there as well. So are there, for other schools or any of the maybe engineering schools, anything like that, are there other schools that have some different admission requirements? And then also, what are some of the other schools that you have that are that you think need highlighted?
Yeah. So we are primarily, a STEM institution. So we actually just have the 18 majors housed, and they're in each individual department. So we just have one. So when you apply to Rose-Hulman, you're applying to Rose. You're not applying to a specific college or department or even a program. And so when you submit your application, you are more than welcome to choose, where you want to focus in on, but then you can also just decide to go undecided. We do actually offer that as an area for you, because we do want you to have that flexibility to make that change. So many students have multiple majors, multiple concentrations, and so we want you to be able to have that flexibility to change your curriculum as you see fit. And so when you go through the application process, you really are applying to the institution as a whole. And, we just have our 18 programs. We don't have the different departments or different colleges, I should say.
Okay. So it's, like a student can come in with one major and they can switch to, let's say, engineering, and they wouldn't have to go through a different process through that, because once you're in Rose-Hulman, you're in wherever department or wherever you want to go through that.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we were talking about how easy it is for students to change their programs. Literally, all they have to do is complete a form with the registrar's office, and they can make that change. So we really do provide that flexibility. And of course, just like any place you go, if you wait too long in your educational career to change, you potentially are extending your time beyond 4 years. So we do encourage students to, kind of explore sooner than later, but still know that, if you do decide that you have that flexibility.
Yeah. And what are some of the schools that you like there?
So for us, it would be the programs. So mechanical engineering is probably what we're known for. It's our largest program. And a lot of students who are interested in like aerospace kind of go that route. That would be what your degree would be titled. But then I personally have a soft spot for our engineering design program. It is a unique program, and it's about 4 years old, so fairly new. It just graduated as first class. And that is a completely hands-on program. Now, of course, with any major we offer, you're going to have some research time in lab, so it will have hands-on components. But from day one in that program, you are working through how to, from concept to design to creation, you are trained on that process, and you do that the first year and all through all 4 years. And so that one's a pretty cool one. And then optical engineering, just to speak kind of quickly on it, because it's one of those cool programs that I'm still kind of learning all the specifics. But optical engineering, although you hear optical, you may think like maybe optometry or with your eyes or light and vision, that is a part of it, but it's really more semiconductors and nanotechnology. So That one I like to talk about just to kind of clarify, where you may end up going. But still a pretty cool program. And one of our prior programs are smaller ones that has some space for students.
Gotcha. So as far as the cost goes, because that's a big part of the college experience for students, what is the cost to attend Rose-Hulman? And the thing I've gotten from all the schools is, here's the sticker price, but you're probably not going to pay this because we have this, this, and this. So if you can tell us the cost to attend and then the this, this, and this that students have, that students are offered.
So yes, I'm going to join that club and say the sticker price right now is about $70,000, which is a huge number, but correct. No one pays that. 100% of our students receive some form of aid. And so for us, our aid package includes merit-based awards that we typically offer or we evaluate to offer at time of admission. But then we also have our need-based grants, our need-based awards. And for us, we encourage every single student to submit their FAFSA first and foremost. And sometimes we'll have families that are like, well, I know I'm not going to get anything, so I won't fill it out. But, I tell everyone, applying for the FAFSA for, a public institution that costs, $20,000, $25,000 is different than applying for a private that costs $70,000. Yeah. So when we review for need, we're looking at that process differently. So we encourage everyone to submit the FAFSA because we can potentially award additional need-based aid. And then we have some additional scholarships through what we call our Noblet Scholars Program. That is a wonderful opportunity for students who really can, articulate that passion for STEM, who would be a wonderful ambassador for our institution. I, kind of say, think of it sort of like an honors program without the extra academic commitment, but we provide some wonderful support to students academically, professionally, but then also financially with additional scholarships up to full tuition. And so just to kind of real quick run through a process for that, seniors who apply through what we call early action, a non-binding application process, would receive consideration for that program. And so when we review for admission, we'll review to see if the student would be a great fit for the program. And if so, we would then invite them to apply. And that process then would include like a fun little video essay where they can share kind of their background and their passion, but then also some additional steps along the way. But students would be notified if they're part of that program by March.
Okay. So there's plenty of opportunities to get a good majority of that paid for.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, lastly, think about when you were going through this process, 5 or 6 years ago, just going through the process of trying to figure out when you're graduating high school and going into college, what do you wish that you knew at that point?
First off, you are too kind to say 5 or 6 years ago. We would times that by like 3. But, a lot has changed since, back then. But I would say I actually was not aware of people like me, like about admissions staff. And even like the admissions office, like I knew I applied and I knew kind of what that process, the application process went through. And I, of course, used my guidance staff for assistance, but then to have someone at the specific institution, I was not aware of. So I wish folks our students would know that, our job as an admissions staff is to help them. There's no, dumb question. There's no, at no point should they be afraid to talk to us, because our whole focus is to help them through the application process. And then, you have folks who've been at multiple institutions, public versus private, who can even help you with more general things, but we absolutely are your resource for your specific institution. So, I am for your students, that is me. So if they have questions about anything related to Rose-Hulman, all they have to do is send me an email, give me a call, text me. I'm happy to help. And I wish I knew about that person so I could have reached out just to have a connection and to ask for assistance if it was necessary.
You are the second person that said that. So actually, that's interesting, as you're the second person I've talked to in these that has said, I wish I knew that my job was a job, because I would have contacted myself in
Absolutely.
the process. So yeah, definitely take advantage of all the resources you have. So, well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Appreciate learning about Rose-Hulman, just a fantastic institution over there in the Indiana-Illinois state line. Engineers galore out there, and great school. So once again, Regina Adkins, Associate Director of Admissions at Rose-Hulman University.